GeopByte.
Hi friends, welcome to the GeopByte. Dear friends, today we are going to discuss the problems which were given in the previous Ecet examinations for the subject Thermodynamics. Dear friends, in general, the questions are frequently repeating in the Ecet examination. Therefore, the each and every problem we are going to discuss is equally important. And hence my request is you please watch till the last problem. After listening all these problems, you practice with pen and paper. While you are practicing, if you find any doubt or any difficulty, you please send your doubt to the GeopByte. Definitely, I will answer all your questions within 24 hours. You can ask any question in diploma mechanical point of view, not only from thermodynamics but also from strength of material, engineering mechanics, fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines, the refrigeration and air conditioning, heat power engineering, etc. Shall we start the problem? Yes. Look at the very first problem. See, reading the problem clearly is very important. You try to understand the problem clearly, what is given in the problem and what you are asked to find. Look at the very first problem. A reversible cycle heat engine receives and rejects Q1 amount of heat at higher temperature and Q2 amount of heat at lower temperature respectively. Its thermal efficiency. The problem is very clearly given. Q1 equal to heat received by the engine. Heat received by the engine, by the heat engine at higher temperature. At higher temperature. And Q2 equal to heat rejected by the heat engine. Heat rejected by the heat engine at sink temperature is also called lower temperature. You are asked to find the heat engine efficiency, the thermal efficiency of the heat engine. The thermal efficiency of the heat engine equal to general formula work done by heat supplied into 100. Here work done equal to what? Heat supplied minus heat rejection. Here heat supplied given is Q1, heat rejection is Q2. So therefore thermal efficiency equal to Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q1 into 100. This is the formula to find the thermal efficiency of the heat engine in terms of heat transfer. Look at the options. Look at the option D, Q1 minus Q2 by Q1 into 100, that is the thermal efficiency formula for any heat engine. Therefore option D is absolutely correct for the given problem. Let us go for another problem. Look at the second problem. 77 degree Fahrenheit will be equal to, this is also very important problem, 5-star problem, means most expected problem. As you know, the relation between degree centigrade and degree Fahrenheit is 1.8 degree centigrade equal to degree Fahrenheit minus 32. Here Fahrenheit value given 77 degree Fahrenheit. It is equal to 77 degree Fahrenheit minus 32 is equal to 1.8 degree centigrade. So from this degree centigrade equal to 77 minus 1 minute 77 minus 32 divided by 1.8, you simplify this value 25. So the thermometer reading in degree centigrade is 25 degree centigrade, but options are given in Kelvin. So here thermometer reading small t equal to 25 degree centigrade. Therefore absolute temperature in Kelvin equal to thermometer reading in degree centigrade plus 273. It is equal to 25 plus 273. You simplify this value. It is equal to 298 Kelvin. 298 Kelvin. So anyhow, 77 degree Fahrenheit equal to 298 Kelvin. Look at the options. Look at the last option. Last option is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. For a perfect gas undergoes change of state of Boyle's law states that at constant temperature pressure is proportional to, at constant temperature according to Boyle's law, the pressure is inversely proportional to its volume. From this I can see that product of pressure and volume is proportional to 1, or product of pressure and volume remains constant. According to Boyle's law, it can also be written as product of pressure volume at state 1 equal to product of pressure volume at state 2 according to Boyle's law at constant temperature. Now look at the options. Here it is given proportional to volume, not proportional to. Look at the pressure and volume relation. Pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So entropy not correct. Inversely proportional to entropy is not correct. Inversely to volume. Absolutely correct. Option D is absolutely correct. Dear friends, remember, according to Boyle's law, for any ideal gas at constant temperature, the pressure is inversely proportional to volume. It means if the pressure increases, volume decreases and vice versa. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. The work done for Rankine cycle is approximately given by the following change during the expansion process. Dear friends, Rankine cycle is used for the thermal power plant. Whereas Brayton cycle is for gas turbine power plant. Of course, this Brayton cycle can also be called as Joule cycle. Next one, Otto cycle is for petrol engine. Whereas diesel cycle is for diesel engine. It means the diesel cycle is the ideal cycle for diesel engine. Otto cycle is the ideal cycle for petrol engine. Brayton cycle is the ideal cycle for gas turbine power plant. Rankine cycle is the ideal cycle for thermal power plant. If you look the expansion of the steam in the steam turbine, let us take the HS diagram, enthalpy versus entropy diagram. This is the saturation dome or saturated vapor curve, like this. It is looking like this. This point is called critical point. Let me mark the pressure of the steam before the expansion, P1. Pressure of the steam after expansion in the steam turbine is P2. You know, the steam is generally sent to the turbine in superheated state. By the time the steam is expanding over the turbine blades, pressure is dropping from P1 to P2. By the time the pressure is dropping from P1 to P2, enthalpy of the steam is dropping from H1 to H2. That enthalpy drop from H1 to H2 is ideally equal to work given by the turbine in the Rankine cycle. Therefore, work given by the turbine equal to enthalpy drop of the steam, H1 minus H2. That is the answer. Look at the options. Let me read the problem once again. The work done for the Rankine cycle is approximately given by the following change during the expansion process. So during the expansion of the steam in the turbine, the enthalpy is dropping. The drop of enthalpy is ideally equal to work given by the turbine. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the fifth problem. The internal energy of a gas is the function of, remember, according to Joule's law, for any ideal gas or perfect gas, or perfect gas, the internal energy U is the function of only temperature. That means the internal energy U increases with increase in temperature and vice versa. The internal energy general formula M into Cv into T, where M be the mass of the gas, Cv be the specific heat at constant volume, T be the temperature. Then I can say internal energy at state 1 U1 equal to mCv T1, internal energy at state 2 U2 equal to mCv T2. The change in internal energy du equal to U2 minus U1, that is equal to M into Cv into T2 minus T1. Anyhow, for any ideal gas, internal energy is the function of only temperature. It means internal energy increases with addition of temperature and decreases with removal of temperature. So anyhow, the internal energy of a gas is the function of temperature only. Therefore, option B itself is absolutely correct. Dear friends, this kind of problem is more frequently asking in the Ecet examination and other competitive exam. That's why I am marking this is the 5-star problem. 5-star problem means most expected problem in the competitive exams. Let us take the another problem. Look at the next problem. The relation between the specific heats of gas is, dear friends, you know Cp minus Cv is equal to R, where Cp equal to specific heat at constant pressure and Cv equal to specific heat at constant volume. R equal to gas constant. Anyhow, Cp minus Cv equal to R is experimentally decided by Mayer. Therefore, this relation is called Mayer's equation. Mayer's equation. Anyhow, relation between the specific heats is Cp minus Cv equal to R. Look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. The first law of thermodynamics deals with the conservation of energy. First law is talking about the law of conservation of energy, whereas second law is talking about the law of degradation of energy. So anyhow, the concept of law of conservation of energy was given by first law of thermodynamics. Let me write it. First law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics gives concept of energy. Gives concept of energy or law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. Whereas second law of thermodynamics is giving the concept of entropy. The second law of thermodynamics is also called law of degradation of energy. The second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics gives concept of entropy. Entropy. The second law of thermodynamics is also called law of degradation of energy. The second law of thermodynamics is also called law of degradation of energy. Degradation of energy. Degradation of energy. So first law of thermodynamics is talking about the energy, whereas second law of thermodynamics is talking about the quality of the energy. Anyhow, option C is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the 8th problem. Joule's law states that the change in internal energy of a gas is proportional to change in, according to Joule's law, internal energy U equal to m into Cv into T. Then internal energy at state 1, U1 equal to mCv into T1. Internal energy at state 2, mCv into T2. Then change in internal energy du equal to U2 minus U1. It is equal to mCv into T2 minus T1. It is equal to mCv into dt. mCv into dt. Should be very careful. mCv into dt. Anyhow, change in internal energy for any ideal gas is the function of change in temperature only. Let me once again read the problem. Joule's law states that the change in internal energy of a gas is proportional to change in temperature only. Because m constant, Cv constant, dt is variable. Therefore, du is proportional to dt. I hope you got my point. Option A is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. The ratio of specific heats at constant pressure and constant volume of gas is always, as you know, Cp equal to specific heat at constant pressure and Cv equal to specific heat at constant volume. And remember, Cp by Cv is equal to gamma according to Regnall's law. according to Regnall's law, Cp by Cv equal to gamma. You know, Cp for air Cp equal to 1.005 and Cv equal to 0.718. Both are in kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Therefore, Cp by Cv equal to 1.005 divided by 0.718. It is approximately 1.4. It is equal to gamma. Therefore, from this I can conclude that Cp by Cv or ratio between the Cp and Cv always greater than 1. Therefore, the option, look at the option. It is given option A 0, A is not correct, less than 1 not correct, greater than 1 absolutely correct. The ratio between the Cp and Cv always greater than 1 and that constant is called adiabatic index. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. In the following system, there is no interaction of mass or energy. That means you are asked to identify the system in which the mass interaction is 0 and energy interaction also 0. It is like this. Here mass interaction between the system and surroundings 0 and energy interaction between the system and surroundings equal to 0. What is the name of that system? Isolated system. Isolated system. In the isolated system, there is no mass interaction and no energy interaction. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. Of course, in the open system, if I say this is the open system, in the open system, mass is interacting between the system and surroundings and energy also interacting between the system and surroundings. Whereas in the closed system, here mass interaction between the system and surroundings is 0, but only energy interaction takes place. Energy interaction takes place. That energy interaction may be either from system to surroundings or from surroundings to system. I hope you got my point. The example for a closed system, the battery, thermometer are the examples for closed system. Come to the open system, examples fan, turbine, pump, etc. These are all the open system. Come to the isolated system. For the isolated system, the example is universe. In the universe, no mass is interacting. That means in the universe, total mass remains constant, energy remains constant. That means with respect to universe boundary, no mass is interacting and no energy is interacting. I hope you got my point. So option for this problem is isolated system. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. A perfect gas at 27 degrees centigrade is heated. Initial temperature T1 equal to 27 degrees centigrade equal to 27 plus 273 is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay, at constant pressure so as to triple its volume. The final temperature of the gas is, it is given that it is happening at constant pressure. Pressure remains constant. It is given that the final volume V2 is 3 times the initial volume. So the heating at constant pressure is happened to triple its volume, means final volume is 3 times the initial volume. Then I can say that V2 by V1 equal to 3. At constant pressure, according to Charles' law, V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. From this I can say that T2 by T1 equal to V2 by V1. V2 by V1. T2 by, what is the T1 value? 300. V2 by V1 is 3. Therefore, final temperature T2 equal to 3 multiplied by 300 is equal to 900 Kelvin. Look at the units, 900 Kelvin, because T1 is taken in 300 Kelvin. So, but options are given only degree centigrade. For getting the degree centigrade value from Kelvin, it should be the T2 equal to 900 minus 273. Otherwise, you can remember like this. The absolute temperature capital T2 equal to thermometer reading in degree centigrade plus 273. From this, the thermometer reading in degree centigrade after it is heated equal to absolute temperature minus 273. Absolute temperature is 900 minus 273 is equal to 627 degrees centigrade. That is the temperature after it is heated at constant pressure 627 degrees centigrade. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. For a system, the internal energy plus the product of pressure and volume is called, enthalpy H equal to sum of the internal energy and flow work PV. It is given that the sum of internal energy and product of pressure volume. This product of pressure and volume is called flow work. Flow work is also called flow energy. Flow energy. Anyhow, look at the relation. The sum of the internal energy and product of pressure and volume is called enthalpy. H is the enthalpy. Enthalpy. Look at the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. Option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. Work done in free expansion process. See, free expansion process means it is like this. Let us take a container. Let us take a container. Some high pressure gas is there. High pressure gas is there. Let us take another container. Let us take another container. That container is perfectly evacuated. Perfectly evacuated. It means nothing is there in the tank 2. In the tank 2, nothing is there. It is perfectly evacuated. But in the tank 1, high pressure gas is there. Now I am connecting these two tanks by a valve mechanism. A valve mechanism. Once the valve is opened, the gas is rushed towards the evacuated region from the high pressure gas region. Once the valve is opened, the gas is freely expanding from tank 1 to tank 2 or high pressure region to perfectly evacuated region. Such kind of process is called free expansion process. So the definition is like this. The expansion of gas from high pressure region to perfectly evacuated region or low pressure region is called free expansion process. Free expansion process. Free expansion process. For example, if your bike is punctured, if your bike tire is punctured, then high pressure gas is escaping from the tire to atmosphere without any restriction. Such kind of process is called free expansion process. Similarly, the pressure cooker, by the time you are boiling the rice, after a state or at a particular state or after some time, the steam is trying to escape from the pressure cooker to outside without any restriction. Such kind of expansion of the steam from the pressure cooker to outside is called free expansion process. Dear friends, remember, generally we are assuming that the two systems are perfectly evacuated for the free expansion process. For the free expansion process, the two systems are perfectly evacuated, including the pipe, for avoiding the complete heat transfer. So the two systems are perfectly evacuated. Once the two systems are perfectly evacuated, what is the heat transfer? Q equal to 0. Here work transfer also 0, because by the time the gas is freely flowing from high pressure region to low pressure region or evacuated region, no mechanical device is moved by the gas. Therefore thermodynamic work equal to 0. Until unless there is no mechanical part movement, there is no thermodynamic work. Here the gas is freely moving from high pressure location to low pressure location. Because of the gas flow, no mechanical object is moving. That's why I took work done equal to 0. Since it is happening in a closed system energy balance equation, Q equal to W plus du. Here Q0, W0 and du equal to 0. That means U2 minus U1 equal to 0. U2 minus U1 equal to 0 or U2 equal to U1. That means internal energy remains constant. Internal energy remains constant for the free expansion process. Internal energy remains constant in the free expansion process. In the free expansion process. That is about the free expansion process. So look at the options. Once again, let me read the problem. Work done in free expansion process is 0. Work done 0, heat transfer 0, and change in internal energy also 0, but internal energy remains constant. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. In a Carnot engine with efficiency of 40%. Efficiency of the Carnot engine is given 40%. It is equal to 0.4. The heat rejected to sink at 27 degrees centigrade is 60 kilojoules. Given that sink temperature generally marked by T2 equal to 27 degrees centigrade equal to 27 plus 273 equal to 300 Kelvin. The amount of heat rejected at this temperature, that is Q2 equal to 60 kilojoules. Your heat rejection I marked as Q2. Then the heat supplied in kilojoules to the engine. You are asked to decide the heat supplied. Qs equal to Q1 is how much? This is also very important problem. 5-star problem, means most expected problem. most expected problem. Now the efficiency of the Carnot engine equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1, where Q2 is the heat rejection, Q1 is the heat supplied. From this, Q2 by Q1 equal to 1 minus efficiency of the Carnot engine. But what is the efficiency of the Carnot engine? Efficiency of the Carnot engine is given 0.4. It is equal to 1 minus 0.4 is equal to 0.6. But what is the heat rejection? The heat rejection by heat supplied equal to 0.6. Then what is the heat supplied? Heat supplied equal to heat rejection divided by 0.6. What is the heat rejection? Dear friends, the heat rejection is 60 kilojoules. It is equal to 60 divided by 0.6. How much? Q1 equal to 100 kilojoules. Therefore, the heat supplied to the Carnot heat engine is 100 kilojoules. Look at the options. 100 kilojoules. Look at the last option. 100 kilojoules is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the last problem. Efficiency of real engines operating between two temperature limits. Dear friends, efficiency of the real engine or practical engine always less than efficiency of Carnot engine. So for any heat engine like thermoelectric power plant, gas turbine power plant, petrol engine or diesel engine or nuclear power plant, the real engine efficiency always less than Carnot cycle efficiency or Carnot engine efficiency. So look at the options. Let me read the problem once again. Efficiency of real engines operating between two temperature sources equal to reversible engines? No. Greater than? No. Less than Carnot engine? Absolutely correct. Option C is absolutely correct. Dear friends, this problem is also more frequently asking in the competitive exam. That's why I am marking this is also a 5-star problem. 5-star problem means most expected problem. With this problem, my dear friends, I am concluding this video. Dear friends, I am concluding this video with this problem. You please practice all these problems once again. While you are practicing these problems, if you have any doubt, you send that doubt to the GeopByte as a message. Definitely, I will answer all your doubts or questions within 24 hours. Dear friends, you can also ask me any question in the strength of material, refrigeration and air conditioning, the heat power engineering, fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines, and engineering mechanics, etc. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Please subscribe our channel called GeopByte. Have a great day. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you once again.
GeopByte.